Are you with me? Let's see. We want to go live. All right, we are live on YouTube. We are going live on LinkedIn. And for some reason, Facebook still doesn't want to let me do it. Great. Okay. Streaming software setup. It is all set up. We have details. Our advanced settings were copied and all good to go. Go live. Oh, my friends, this is so much more complicated than it needs to be. Let's see. Let's see if it'll work if I try it again. Save that detail. Why won't you let me go live? Well, maybe today is just LinkedIn and YouTube because Facebook is not quite letting me do it. So why not? We're just going to go here. Okay. Hello. Happy Monday. It is the beginning of Q2. It is April 1st. Can you believe it? I cannot believe it. We did not do amazing planning for Q2 because we were so busy in Q1. And so we have definitely been trying to catch up to that a little bit. We've got a new newsletter out that is, why the hell is that doing that? Guys, this like multiple platform streaming thing is way more complicated than it needs to be. We are using Riverside. We've got all the links. We've got all the stuff going. Facebook won't let me go live all of a sudden. There's like no button. I can't do it. I'm connected to the streaming software. All of the links are in there correctly. It's just not happening. Okay. YouTube is the best. It's the easiest. So that's great. It just does it. LinkedIn, I think I finally figured out, but I don't know why it feels the need to continue replaying a preview while I'm actually talking. So if you heard some back talking there, I apologize. Let's see. So we are also live on Instagram today. So I've got a couple different cameras going on. I am trying to figure all of this out. One of these days, guys, I'm going to get it right. I promise you. And today we are talking about how to handle a terrible apparel fit sample or a terrible proto, because this is inevitably going to happen to you. If you work in the apparel industry, you work on prototypes, you are absolutely going to receive a bad proto, something that doesn't fit the body at all, and you're going to have to figure out how to proceed. And so this week, we're talking all about that on all of our different social media channels. We've got a blog coming out on Thursday. We've got a video coming out on YouTube tomorrow. And then our brand new newsletter, the Cutting Edge Leadership and Apparel Development, is also coming out on Friday. So if you are not signed up and subscribed to that newsletter, we are giving out additional information in that newsletter that we are not sharing on any of our free platforms. So for you to get all of that extra information, you need to make sure that you sign up for it. So if you go to thebusinessofapparel.com, you can sign up for our newsletter there, and I will be sending out every Friday additional tips and tricks on how to handle whatever topic it is that we're talking about that week. So this week on Friday, we'll be sending out some additional information on how you can handle that terrible prototype. But one thing that I really wanted to talk about today is something that I don't think enough people realize is a possibility. And in the apparel industry, if you receive a terrible prototype, you absolutely can go out to your factory and say, hey, this is not fitting well. This did not hit the mark. You did not make the measurements the way that we asked them to. You did not follow our bill of materials. It's rejected. Try again. And this can be a great way to take all of that extra work off of your team's plate. You're not actually having to go through the fit process. You're not having to measure the sample, review the sample, make all of your comments. Sometimes these take up to a month of processes, depending on how many prototypes you're going through at a certain time. If you have a big line, let's say you have like 30 or 50 styles in your new product line and you have to fit all of that, being able to take a few off of your plate because you can just reject them can actually be a really great way to increase your productivity. So that is option number one that is always available to you. Now, the interesting thing about rejecting a prototype is that you need to kind of make sure that it's not on you. It can't really be your fault that you're rejecting a prototype. And what I mean by that is, if you go back into your official tech pack file where you've got all of your sketches, all of your measurements, all of the details in there, do you actually have all of the details right? And if you didn't provide all of the correct measurements, if you didn't provide a detailed bill of materials, if you didn't create detail sketches and your factory doesn't understand what it is that they're supposed to be doing, then you have to go back and do that extra work to make sure that they understand what it is that they're supposed to do. You can't really reject something if it wasn't their fault that they missed the mark. So that is definitely something that you can do. Go back and check your tech pack, which kind of leads me into the next thing that you can do if you receive a terrible prototype. If you have access to a sewing team or a pattern engineering team in your own company or in your own brand, or maybe let's say you have a relationship with an amazing pattern engineer that you used when you were starting out your brand, and now you just want to kind of go back to them from project to project. You can reach out and ask to make an what we call an in-house proto. So instead of going back to your factory and saying, "Hey, this didn't work. I'm either going to make comments or I'm going to reject it." It could be a great idea for you to check your own work by trying to make the proto yourself. And in the big brand apparel industries, we don't always get the chance to do this. We're always moving so fast. We've got all of these processes and check boxes to kind of mark off. And so instead of going into making a prototype of every single one of our styles, we just send it right off to the factory, right? We trust them. We've been working with them for years. We know how important it is to maintain that relationship. So we're just sending out our tech packs to them, asking them to do the work. And if you're getting bad prototypes in from them, maybe you're checking your tech pack and you think everything looks right. One way to really double check your work could be to make that proto yourself. And now I'm not saying that you personally need to sit down at a sewing machine and sew anything. I am actually going to debunk the fact that I don't think you need to know how to sew at all to be in the apparel industry. Like, it's certainly an advantage, but to make great product, to design great product, and then ask other people to do that work for you, I don't actually think you need to personally know how to sew or be very good at sewing. And so you can ask someone to do that for you. Now, there are some amazing brands who have in house prototyping services. There's an entire team dedicated to doing all of those patterns. There's an entire team dedicated to doing that sewing in house. Hi, Deb. And so we can definitely utilize those people to come through for us and help us understand if that prototype was a good one. Maybe we needed to update our tech pack completely differently. Like, there's something that we thought was right and it's just not. We just need to understand that we need to totally change our information because the information we had was bad. So those are two different ways that you can kind of go through. But again, double checking your own work to make sure that you are doing the best job that you can and you're not relying on your factory to interpret bad information is really important. The third way that you can handle a terrible prototype is to bring it into a fitting. Now, you I would really recommend that you have someone on your team or for you to feel really skilled in running an apparel fitting to fit a terrible prototype. You really need to be able to understand exactly what that garment is telling you. What is the fabric doing? Is a wrinkle indicating that something is too tight or something is too loose? If you've been doing this for a while and garments are kind of starting to speak to you, you're like becoming an apparel whisperer, then this is something that you can absolutely go in and do. You might need to cut your garment, pin your garment quite a bit to get it manipulated to the point where you know you can make good comments and get your factory in a better place for the next round. But this is something that the more advanced teams in the apparel industry are able to do. We don't pass up prototypes. If something is really terrible, we still go ahead and we fit it. And so, if there's a situation where you've received a terrible prototype, there are a couple different solutions that we have for you. here at Unmarked Street to come in and just /contact. Or if you go to our website, unmarkedstreet.com, we have this apply now button all over the place, and you can apply for an open client slot. Tell us what you need, and we'll definitely get in touch with you to figure out next steps. The other rapid solution that we have is that I partner with a few different other brands. We do some 3D renderings. We work on the pattern engineering for you, so you don't need to even have a pattern engineer. We run like 3 or 4 fittings for you right off the bat so that you don't have to worry about all of that. We do it in about a month, and then we provide you with like a production ready pattern. And that is our rapid prototyping program. It is done on an individual basis. So if you're interested in getting someone to come in because you think this prototype is terrible, you see in your future that you're going to need like 7, 8, or 9 protos to figure out how to get it right, and you just want an expert team to come in and take care of that for you, that's something that Unmarked Street can help to facilitate while you move forward with all of your other styles that are maybe not as difficult. So these are some of the best tips that I can give you. You can either reject that prototype again, you can make an in-house prototype, or if your team is pretty advanced, you can proceed with your fitting. And if your team isn't advanced, but you still want to proceed with that fitting because you're not sure what's going on, that's definitely something you can call me on. I would love to help you with that. Fitting garments is like my bread and butter. I love it. It is my favorite part of being in the apparel industry. So I would love to be hands-on with you and to learn a little bit more about your brand. So if there is anything else that we can help you guys with, again, I really encourage you to go over to thebusinessofapparel.com and sign up for our new weekly newsletter, The Cutting Edge Leadership in Apparel Development. We are really going to be focusing in on how to do all of these fit processes week after week after week. We're starting to pull together some resources. So we have a brand new resource. We've been talking for the last couple of months all about fittings, all of the things that I know about fittings. I've been trying to teach you for free on YouTube. And so we've pulled that together into a 10-in-1 download. So I have 9 different articles, and I've got a free fit checklist and protocol list for you. And that's all bundled into a single download. You get 10 resources in one. And so you can go to thebusinessofapparel.com/10 if you're interested in that. I know these are lots of calls to action. I'm asking you to do a lot of things here. You don't have to do any of this. I'm just encouraging you. This is free information for you guys. If you really want to expand your knowledge on how to be a better technical designer, how to be a better developer, there is no other free information out there about it. You can take a fashion freelancing course, but not many other people are doing it for free. So you can definitely sign up, become a part of our community, and take advantage of all of this free teaching that I'm doing. So thank you so much for being patient with me today. I don't think we actually got Facebook Live up and running, but we'll see if we can repost the Instagram one over there. I think we caught YouTube and LinkedIn though. So thank you guys for joining me. I don't see any comments or questions. So we'll sign off for the day and repost everything. I hope you have a wonderful Monday. No April Fool's jokes today, unless you got my newsletter and I did a really cheesy one in there. And then happy Q2 to all of you. I hope that you are all excited to get started on this next quarter of your business. Talk soon.